dog. But of course, enjoy your company, sir.
No.
All right, looks like Dr. Wood's image is back up.
Yes, and that we are live now. Welcome everybody to the Q&A session with Dr. Rice and Dr. Wood. They just had a very riveting and interesting presentation and discussion, and so we are open for questions. If you have any questions for Dr. Wood and Dr. Rice, please feel free to put that in the chat, and I will be able to assist in reading it. Okay, we got a question, some more technical question from Asia Glass. Is the session working for anyone else? Let's see. Yes, it is.
Yes, and it appears Miss Glass, this is one of my students. It appears she's in here.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Okay. Maybe let me ask her.
That I will share to the group and to Dr. Mashonga. I was moved to develop the presentation because I think that there's clearly a unique opportunity for entrepreneurship to support those individuals who may be disenfranchised and come from underserved communities. But I also believe that entrepreneurship can be a pathway to independence for those returning citizens who aspire to control their own destiny and have difficulties accessing the traditional workforce. And so that was kind of the overarching motivation, just to amplify the possibilities that small businesses can present. And what's exciting about small businesses, particularly Black-owned small businesses, is that the owners are in a unique position to bring into the fold individuals who may not be able to access employment due to their prior criminal history. And our young people who also come from communities in which there's poverty, in which there are numerous barriers that limit economic mobility. I think that there are programs to assist them in preparing. Suppose give some of my thoughts to that question. It looks as though Ms. White has a question. What has the amount of increase of entrepreneurship within the Black communities in the area of healthcare? So, Ms. White, of course, you ask a question for for Dr. Charlotte Wood, my colleague who brings the expertise in that space. So I don't want to sound like I'm going to punt it, but I do want to give her an opportunity to respond to that. And again, your question was, what has the amount of increase in entrepreneurship within the Black communities in the area of healthcare? One of the things that I have noticed, and this is more so anecdotal, but I am seeing more and more in-home health aides who are providing support to families over periods of time. At least from, and this is a criminal justice person, again, this is just a perspective, but I have seen those opportunities, and I'm not sure in terms of the entrepreneurial opportunities related to COVID, but I am sure that has also afforded growth opportunities as well. But again, I'll defer to my colleague, Dr. Wood, because that is indeed her space. Any additional questions, or Ms. White, do you want to expound on, what you are seeing or what you have seen, and what kind of spurred you to ask the question? What is it that you have seen that has kind of moved you? Do you see that there is a benefit in terms of entrepreneurship to the area of healthcare? I would argue that there is, but I'm curious just to get your perspective as someone who I'm sure is also informed in this space. And you can also, if you like, type it in the chat. Can everyone hear me? Okay, so we have, okay, I see some additional questions here. Thank you. All right. Are colleges promoting entrepreneurship in the field of healthcare? Again, I don't want to overstep Dr. Wood, but I do know that there are opportunities that are presented. The nature, the broad nature, and the drill down in terms of the specific types of industry within that broader field, I'm sure she will be able to respond to. And I'm also, Dr. Wood, I believe you should also be able to respond in the chat if you're unable to be heard. What steps can employers take to prepare, educate themselves on hiring returning citizens? This is CEW Tate, a great question. I think, one, there are great organizations throughout. So let's just look at Baltimore for a snapshot. There are great organizations like Goodwill Industries, the Center for Urban Families will Strive Baltimore, Volunteers of America. These are organizations that have a proven track record and history of working with returning citizens and successfully integrating them back into the workforce, not just to get any job, but to assist them with career path focus, right? And so these entities have cultivated relationships over the years with a range of diverse employers throughout the state. And these are employers that have come into agreement with these nonprofit, many of them are nonprofit organizations. And these employers have said, we recognize that the individuals that you refer to us, that there's a population that will have criminal histories, and that could be from misdemeanor to violent offenses. And we trust that based on those individuals, male and female, young and old, going through your intensive job readiness training program, be it soft skills, hard skills, it may be specific to teach in a unique industry such as coding or food service industries that are more traditional. But these employers are saying that we are willing, based on partnering with you and your network, to take a chance on these returning ex-offenders. And so the leaders of those organizations, through the partnership and collaboration building, explain what those unique challenges and barriers are. The nonprofit says, this is what we will do. We will deal with the person who may have back child support issues so that when their check comes, they don't have any check. And so they decide not to engage in the traditional workforce or to pursue any above board legal employment. They will also state that we will assist in dealing with the substance abuse issues and making the meaningful referrals so that that's not something that will impact their employment once you hire them. We will deal with the soft skills, interviewing, resume writing, professionalism in the workforce. We will handle that so that when they come to you, they will be prepared. And we will also provide a job readiness coordinator who will come do site visits and assist in any type of troubleshooting. So I know I spoke long on that, but partnering with those agencies, many of those agencies that also have coordinators who may have previously been ex-offenders themselves, returning citizens themselves, they provide the unique insight to employers and the broader community regarding the viability of engaging these individuals. And you may say, well, Dr. Rice, why you mentioned these organizations? Why is this so important? Because if that same person that comes in the doors for the Center for Urban Families walks on their own and try to get hired, and they aren't prepared, that same organization may not give them an opportunity. But because of the linkages between these powerful nonprofits who have already placed people in their work environment that have been successful, they have a pipeline based on those unique relationships that can be very beneficial to that returning offender. And lastly, some of the individuals on those boards are also entrepreneurs. Some of the people on the board are private business owners who are on the board of directors, and they provide some insight in terms of entrepreneurship and may hire and train and help individuals consider starting their own business and show them a model and pathway that works. And so again, connecting with organizations that have an understanding of the target population is key. And so I hope for CEW Tate that feedback was helpful. Would you consider homelessness to be an impediment in healthcare and criminal justice entrepreneurship within Black and Brown communities? I do believe, and again, I'm speaking to the criminal justice perspective, that homelessness is a significant challenge in Baltimore City and across the country. When I worked for the Maryland Department of Human Resources, I was the director of the grants management, and within my portfolio was homeless and transitional services. And the homeless and transitional services program, we were the members, the different entities that provided the services that were funded throughout the state. We provided monitoring and compliance for those organizations, but we also were part of a larger governor's task force to end homelessness. And there was a homelessness plan of action, and there was stakeholders from different agencies, state agencies. And it was evident and clear that a lack of stability, even something as basic as a lack of a mailing address, can make it very difficult for a person who is a returning citizen to connect with employment. A person may have different documents from the MVA or other places that are mailed to old addresses, or they may have moved and be couch surfing or living in their car. Those things make it difficult. Now, some organizations will provide a mailbox or allow those individuals who are in transition to use the agency as a location in which to get their mail. And those agencies may assist in facilitating that and supporting them in getting their driver's license. Perfect example, the Ex-Offender Reentry Center at Mondawmin Mall. I can't think of the gentleman's name, but he's been there for years, done great work in assisting ex-offenders to make sure that they get their resume, they get into the city and job system, that they understand how important ID and identification is and to facilitate that process. So that's key. And also there is, I can't think of the name of the card because it's been many years, but there is a continuum of care that if individuals enter into that homelessness continuum of care, it should be easier for people to track them and to get information to them and to support them. And so homelessness is an impediment, but it does not have to be a barrier that is impossible to overcome. But the guidance to those individuals who are homelessness and some stability in terms of where they can use the address so they can get any type of important information from an employer and be contacted is central. You know, if they don't have a cell phone, it could be hard to get messages to them. So these are all issues that human services workers and business owners are aware of. But I think the key is to be able to support through those local agencies. You have like Helping Up Mission and other entities that have trained case managers that can help those individuals facilitate getting ID, getting the information in mail, and getting messages from employers. Because if an employer calls and someone picks up the phone and says, I don't know who you're talking about, or that person isn't here anymore, that can raise a flag of concern, and that employer will move on. I hope that has been somewhat helpful as well. Okay, Ms. White says, I've seen long-term nurses just stay in healthcare area and not move into entrepreneurship. So I will ask Dr. Wood if she can respond to that in the chat. Ms. Glass, can entrepreneurship be discouraging to those who feel like they aren't that successful when they begin? It can, but you do have the Small Business Administration. You have Mayor's Office of Employment Development that may sponsor or host different type of sessions. There's SCORE. There are organizations, this Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce. There's the Baltimore Urban League. So there are organizations that provide free training and information that can be very central to entrepreneurs gaining the confidence that they need so that they're able to launch out. I don't know the statistics offhand, but there are a lot of businesses that start out that fail, some small businesses. So it's important when you start to have a strong network that you're plugged into where you can get mentorship, and that mentorship can be central, and that support can be central to you avoiding the mistakes and pitfalls. Now, we're in a time of COVID, which has really compounded employment. We know that employment for different groups, unemployment has went up. We know that we've been in a period because of COVID that's created economic downturn, but there are still entrepreneurs that are finding success. One of the things that I've been able to, to track in my daily business is through the Baltimore Business Journal. They show different entrepreneurs and stories of entrepreneurs, restaurant owners, industry owners, and security in different fields, and how they've been able to pivot and overcome very associated with COVID-19. One of my friends and colleagues who owns a Black hair care business communicated in a webinar not too long ago how his business actually has expanded, and they increased mail order, and they have a setup for pickup. And because even though we're in COVID, people still have beauty needs that have to be met, right? And there are who still are in jobs that require them to show up, such as healthcare, necessary essential employees, and they still need certain types of services. And so I would say, Ms. Glass, that entrepreneurship can be discouraging, but it can also have a tremendous upside. All entrepreneurs that were successful will share stories in which they were discouraged at one point and how they were able to navigate some of the challenges that they faced. So I hope that is helpful. Mr. Glass said, reminds me of Donald Trump. He had no idea about policy, but yes, he was close to many entrepreneurs and business people and was able to achieve presidency because of his past relationships. And there are people who will vote in a particular way if they feel that the candidate speaks to their interests. So if, some people voted for President Trump because they felt that he was a successful entrepreneur. And again, we have to, as individuals, look at the different policies and decide who we want to support. Let me go a little further up here. Okay, and Dr. Wood looks like she just said, any questions for herself, and I know I'm just going to go down. One of the questions Ms. White had earlier, Dr. Wood, are colleges promoting entrepreneurship in the field of healthcare? Sylvia White had asked, are colleges promoting entrepreneurship in the field of healthcare? So I'm going to let Dr. Wood respond to that. And hopefully Dr. Wood heard me, but let me see if I can also cut and paste it in case she didn't hear me. Just bear with me, everyone. Let me see if I can copy this, because I know you don't want to hear all criminal justice. So let me see if I can put this in for Dr. Wood. And let's see what her response is.
And just thank you, Dr. Rice. We will be gathering all the questions that were for Dr. Wood today and provide those to her, and we will make sure that we get those answered. So just participants, make sure you have your email address with your profile, and we'll gather that and send that to you. So thank you so much.
Not a problem at all. If I may ask, how do we look on time? Are we good, or do I need to, because I will talk.
Yeah, so we have, we did go through the session time, but you do have 3 more minutes left if you want to tackle that before we close out the session. Okay,
great. There are a couple of, I appreciate it. There's a couple of things I just want to bring to everyone's attention. For violent offenders who return to, well, first of all, the majority of people who go to jail and prison will return back to society. So we have to ask ourselves, if there are no viable opportunities for them to be self-sufficient, what do we think will probably happen? Even for the person with the best intent that has, turned their lives around within the facility and comes back out, if that strain comes, that economic strain, they may reconsider the better decisions that they made in the prison and start to engage in behavior that got them in the prison in the first place. Violent offenders, those who commit murders and other type of serious crimes, find it even more difficult to acquire employment. And so entrepreneurship, teaching them entrepreneurship while they're in the prison so they can develop a skill set while they're in the prison is important. And then also having resources such as through the SBA grants that allow ex-offenders or organizations that work with ex-offenders to provide micro grants or financial support so that they can get off the ground. It can be maybe a lawn service, or again, developing coding and working for a firm and then launching out on their own as a freelancer. There are opportunities. And so when you saw in my presentation, youth opportunity centers, when you saw Center for Urban Families, when you saw Mentoring Male Teens in the Hood, when you saw Roca Baltimore, these programs help prepare individuals who are returning citizens or may have had contact with the criminal justice system, prepare them to enter the workforce by removing barriers and providing opportunities to them and looking at the assets that they bring, not the deficiencies. They help to address the deficiencies, but it's an asset-based mindset and approach to then connect them to organizations and people that can help them move the needle forward and to start their own businesses or to get into the job market. And so that's critical. And you say, well, why should we care? We should care because
Dr. Rice, we're cutting out soon in just a few seconds.
Okay, well, I just want to thank everyone for coming. And you should have my LinkedIn information, and my students know how to contact me. I appreciate you attending the conference and supporting and sharing today with your questions. Thank you.